Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time and we really appreciate your company. So, very quick, information of what is still coming this month before we invite today's speaker. So today is December 15th. On December 17th, we are offering a workshop, Mind Care. We take care of a lot of things, right? Our body, our house, our closets and cars and whatnot. But I think we never actually spare much thought about, are we taking care of our mind? And what is being covered in this is how we can finish overthinking and calm down quickly. And I think it's the appropriate time, right? It's we are right around the corner. The Christmas is coming up and family and friends will be gathering. And Sister Judy has mentioned during Thanksgiving time that for some people it's stressful time. So I think this workshop is very timely. And if you haven't registered for it, please do so. The link is available on our website. The timings are on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, and it'll be for an hour and a half. Besides this, we offer live meditation, Power Boost at 12 noon from Monday to Friday for 15 to 20 minutes. And if you are not joining us for the Power Boost, do make some time and join us for the live meditation. That's all for rest of the December month. And today's topic, the gift is you. Reevaluating the culture of giving. I think it's, again, I'm probably repeating the words, but it's, again, very appropriate topic, right? It's a Christmas time and we are buying gifts and we are receiving gifts. And let's have Sister Judy sharing her thoughts from the spiritual perspective.
Thank you, Anita.
Good evening, Sister Judy. Very warm welcome on behalf of everyone.
Thank you. So, Anita, are you shopping?
Actually, I haven't started my shopping, so I think I will take good pointers from today's talk.
Okay, well, let me first invite you, if you're willing to turn on your camera. It's a lot more fun to talk to you than to your name, although your names are lovely. Are there really two Rachels, capital R and small r, or are those two Rachels? Or is that one Rachel? So, hello, Joanna, Barsha, Lisa. It's nice to see your faces and be able to connect with you. So, this is the season, isn't it? It's the season of craziness. It's the season of Amazon. It's the season of, is the gift gonna get there on time? It's the season of, I have a memory or a thought in my mind of what a happy holiday should be. And if ours isn't like that, I'm going to be disappointed. It's that kind of a season, right? All of these things go on at this time of year. It's funny because we look forward to the time of year and we talk about memories, but honestly, for a lot of people, it's quite stressful. So we will not be talking about that kind of gift today. I'm going to presume that your house is filled with wrapping paper and tape and shipping boxes and all of the rest. And your hope is that those people that you're sending gifts to, your hope is that they like what you bought, right? What do you get most excited about? The gifts you're going to get or the gifts you're giving? Just chat to me. Let me just see here in the chat. Or you can do your hand up. You can use the reaction. How many of you get very excited about what you, yeah, that's what I thought. Judy is saying in there, giving. Yep. How about the rest of you? Is it the gift? Yeah, it's the gift you're giving, right? Joanna, same thing. You know, you really try to find the thing they're gonna like, and then you watch them open it, and you're waiting for them to kind of say, yes, how did you think of this? Wow, this is exactly it. So the giving is really the magic, right? And you know, it's interesting when you think of the great stories in the world and the great characters in those stories. Yep, Rachel, giving, yep. Those stories are often filled with donors, bestowers, big time givers. I mean, Santa Claus, big time giver, right? I mean, like that's the whole point of Santa Claus is the giving. You give him a cookie and he gives you, you know, a whole room full of gifts. But think about the kings, the magi, all those angels. What do the angels do? They bring messages, they bring light, they bring love. You think about goddesses, genies, right? All the stories of genies. You get 3 wishes, and I'm going to fulfill your wishes. So the business of being able to be a giver, being able to be a donor is very big. It's big in the culture. It's big in humanity, right? Big givers, big donors, people who brought big gifts, their lives go down, their names go down in history. You know, all those libraries named after the Carnegies and all those, you know, parks and hospitals. When people give to others, we just remember them and we praise them, etc. And we want to be able to do that also. So I think there's 2 kinds of searches that we're on. So when I was asking you about this business about whether you prefer to give or receive, you know, on the one hand, I would say that a lot of us actually, as much as we would like to give, a lot of us are really tired. Any of you kind of feeling a little bit depleted, like a little bit weary, a little bit, you know, too much of everything, a little bit run down, a little bit of, I wouldn't mind if, yes, says Judy Capello, yes, that's right. And, you know, sometimes there's this little quiet adult thought, well, I wouldn't mind if someone came to me, some king or saint or angel or whatever stopped by and had for me the thing I really want. So I think if you think about it, there's kind of 2 sorts of searches. One of them is if we are feeling depleted and tired and stressed, maybe worried about money, maybe worried about relationships, maybe worried about jobs, you know, how we're going to make the dollar stretch now that food costs twice as much and airplane tickets cost 3 times as much. How are we going to make that work? So in some ways, we're searching for a benefactor, right? A lot of us are saying, gosh, it would be just great if I'd win the lottery or somebody would just show up and be able to share, you know, bring me what I need. But the second kind of search is the search that you all are on, which is, and all of us are on, which is what happens when you move on to the spiritual path. And that is, you want to be able to be completely full and completely wealthy and prosperous with all the things that the world needs, right? That we need individually and the world needs. So while there's some people in the world who are looking for a benefactor, and in some ways everyone might be looking for a benefactor, but what we're really looking for is to be able to be a benefactor. You know, can I be the one who brings those gifts to the home, to the workplace, to the world? And so that's what our spiritual life is really about. How do we become like that? Now, I would say that when we have this thought, it comes from a place of I guess let's think about what it is we really want. So most of us, while we might want a new car, or we might want, to replace the furnace, or, we might want to be able to afford the nice vacation. But honestly, for most of us, what we really want is we really want to feel completely at peace. We really want to feel completely loved and loving. We want to feel hope. We want to feel hope about our own lives and hope about the world. We want to feel joy, right? The whole season, joy to the world. I mean, that's what the whole season is all about. And yet, it's been a hard couple of years. We've been through a tough time. And so it's important for us to acknowledge what's really going on, to acknowledge that it's been tough. And, there's a saying, you're only as happy as your least happy child. Have you ever heard that? So in some ways, whether it's the child or the spouse or the sibling or the boss or the employee or whatever, we are affected by those around us. Their sorrows become our sorrows. Their challenges become our challenges. Their bad days become our bad days. And so what we find ourselves wanting to be able to do is make it okay, right? Let me make it okay for that one. Let me try to infuse this into the atmosphere, into the house, into the life. And so this takes us to this place of how do we become those who can do that? How do we become the ones who can bring have that kind of generosity and that ability to bring that into our world? And that's why I would imagine that you started meditating. I would imagine that's why you got in touch with the Manhattan Center and signed up for some of their midday things or their weekend things, because you're trying to bring that kind of richness and peace and stability to your own life. So when you do that, there's a few kind of realizations. One of the realizations that comes pretty quickly is that actually the things you are looking for, you already have. It's not that you don't have peace. It's not that you don't have love or happiness or compassion or kindness or patience or whatever. I think what we feel is that we don't have it all the time. We may not have it when we need it. It may not be constant, but we know that actually we do have that capacity. And so that's one of the first epiphanies, you might say, this awareness that, yeah, I do have that quality. And what happens is sometimes as I go through my life, I get worn down. I lose my ability to access it, but I do have that because that is innate in the true self. There is no soul that wasn't originally given peace, that didn't originally have love. Not possible. Souls in their original state are not bad. They're not unloved or loveless. They're not sad. They're not angry. Souls became that way. They weren't that way originally. All of us had that original capacity. All of us had that original fullness and beauty in us. So it's because we had that we want that. No matter what the religion of your childhood may have told you, Your original nature is goodness. And you, all of those qualities you have in somewhere in you. Now, if you don't have them now, in other words, if you are feeling peaceless, let's say you're feeling restless or anxious, the reason you search for peace is because you have known peace. If you had never known it, you wouldn't look for it. You would just look around and say, well, this is what the world's like. The world's a tough place. But because you've known it, you long for it. And you say, okay, I want my life to be like this, right? And that's what sets you out on your search. The idea that you want to be at peace. You want to be surrounded with real love. You want to have real, true happiness. And that begins your search. Now, when you are on your search, what most people do is they spend quite a bit of time knocking on doors. I don't know if you all did that. How many talks and you went to and books you read and meditations you got online, and we're searching, right? We're looking. We're looking for the thing that's going to fill us up. And a lot of things do give us temporary comfort. We do get comfort from nature. We do get comfort from motivational talks. We do get comfort from, hatha yoga retreats and other things like that. But what we find is that it carries us a little way, but it doesn't sustain us in such a way that we can keep our lives going at the level we're yearning for. So after we're there for a little while, we go back to seeking again. More books, more talks, more searches to see if we can't find our way to what we're looking for. So that can go on for your whole life, actually. But at some point, sometimes you're lucky enough to find what is actually the source of all of that richness, the thing that will reawaken, reanimate, reignite, renew the original self. That experience of being renewed or reanimated is often called awakening. There's a lot of names for it, actually, but one of the most common is awakening. So you awaken to something. Suddenly you find yourself to be very alert when you have this experience. Suddenly you find that you are hopeful, you are animated, you are awake, something in you is touched in a way that it wasn't before. Something in you is stirring in a way that it was asleep before. You realize that something, it's as if someone turned on a light, ignited a little candle inside, and you suddenly realize that you are animated in a different way. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for that waking up. And all those stories about searches and journeys, and all those stories about benefactors, saints and sages and genies and princes and kings and magi's, and all of them are basically leading us back to the same search, the same basic human journey, which is the journey of the self from the darkness it's wandered into back to the source of light. And all great myths actually are some version of this original myth. We have found ourselves wandered into a dark place. We have found ourselves in the wrong neighborhood. We have found ourselves in a tangled forest filled with wild animals. We have found ourselves far from home. The breadcrumbs have been eaten by the animals and we're not sure how to get back. All of those different stories are basically about the yearning of the soul to be back in its original state. And so the journey to wake up is the journey to find the original benefactor, the true source of all of these qualities. Now, there is a little bit of a secret in this, that once you understand it, it makes sense. But until you understand it, it is quite mysterious. And that is that the source isn't a material source, and you, the seeker, are not a material seeker. So you, the seeker, are not a human being, and the source is not a king or a magi or a genie or a saint. The source also is immaterial. Once you understand this, that you, the seeker, are a being of light, more like an angel than a human, that you are consciousness, you are the consciousness inside. You are not the identity. It's not Urmila or Selena or Deepa who's seeking. It's the being inside, the light inside, the soul inside that is seeking. Temporarily, you've got a body and a name, but if you seek as the body and you call out to the source as the body, bring me peace, you won't get peace. It doesn't work that way. You will feel some comfort. Prayer is comforting, calling out is comforting, chanting is comforting, but you won't find the experience of the true self reanimating those original treasures. The only way that happens is when you understand that you, the seeker, are conscient light energy. And you are seeking for the source of life. And when you, the soul, you, the true self, the seeker, find that source, that original source, that creator energy, that presence that has 1,000 names, you know it right away. You feel it right away. Because it's a communication that happens through a current. It's vibration. As a being, you are a vibrational being. You are energy. You are conscient light energy. And so you communicate through vibrations, through currents of light and thought and feeling. And that's how you recognize when you have found that source. You're awakened in terms of that inner energy. Now, when you have that encounter with that one, it's usually, some people have it happen magically all of a sudden. I've had people tell me I was walking down the street. Someone else told me I was in a terrible period of my life. I was in church, I was crying and praying. Everyone has had their different stories, but they always remember where they were when they had the experience. They can always tell you, this is exactly where I was, and this was what it felt like. And almost always what it felt like is a waterfall of light, a current of light that came in through the top of their head and just rushed into the being. And when it happened, they knew, even if they didn't have language for it, they knew who this was. And most people will say it lasted for about 3 days. Now, If you are on a spiritual path, if you're on the path of Raj Yoga, for example, and by the way, Raj means king, right? So what greater benefactor than being a king? So if you're on that path, and even if when you have that encounter, it's not going to just go away because you've learned how to create the inner state to hold yourself stable and receptive for that encounter to happen, for that power, that current, that energy to enter you. And you'll recognize what it is, and you know you can hold yourself in that state. You don't let doubt come in. You don't let worry come in. You accept the thing that's happening, and you allow yourself to be completely awakened. It's also called enlightened, right? The reason it's called enlightened is that the soul is actually absorbing the light of the source, the light of the creator energy, the light of the origin. So the soul is literally becoming lighter. When you encounter someone who has this quality, they actually look lighter. Their eyes look different. The vibration in their presence is different. So we're actually talking about moving from dark to light, about moving from being asleep to being awake, about moving from being in a fluctuating place. 1 minute I'm down, 1 minute I'm up, then I'm down again. I might be down for a while, then I'm up for a few minutes, then I'm down. That's darkness, right? That's stumbling along, trying to figure out what's going to make me happy. I try all kinds of things to make me happy. And every time something happens around me, I'm affected by that. That's what happens when we're asleep. That's what happens when we're in the dark. But once we have this encounter, this experience with the source, this experience with the creator energy, the presence of God, we know instantly the soul recognizes its spiritual parent. This is its oldest relationship. It has known this supreme soul, this creator, for eternity. And the minute that it encounters it again, it immediately recognizes and realizes in some way it's come home. Now, what we want when we're on a spiritual path is to not have this be an accident, not have it be some magical combination of I've had the right music and I had the right incense on and I ate the right dinner and you know the music was just right. I mean, you don't want it to be something that you can't manage, that you don't know when it's going to happen, and you don't want to sit around and beg for it, and you don't need to sit around and beg for it. And you don't need to rely on all of those external things for it to happen. It can't feel fragile. It can't feel like, gosh, if I'm lucky enough to just have that experience once. No. This is the birthright of every soul, to have this primary relationship between the soul and its spiritual parent. We've just forgotten. So we act like it's magic. It's not magic. It's your birthright. Everyone deserves to have this relationship. And you can learn how to do that. You can cultivate the ability for the soul to be in such a state of awareness that it can intentionally connect with the divine. And when that happens, without the soul asking for anything, no Christmas list necessary. When that happens, whatever emptiness is in the true self is naturally filled in the encounter with the source. If the soul is without peace, currents of peace come into the soul. The soul doesn't need to say, give me peace. You can do that. You can have a prayer, But it's not necessary, because the source is like the sun. The source is radiating, and the soul is like a hungry little bird. It drinks up what it needs. So that current of peace comes into the soul, and the soul becomes filled with peace or love. If the soul can feel bereft, orphaned, I don't belong anywhere, no one sees who I really am, no one loves me for what I really am, that one loves you for what you really are unconditionally. It's not like you get extra love if you do certain things. No, you belong to that one. And so when you make that connection, the stream of love from that one pours into the self, and the self becomes filled with love. It's the same with kindness. It's the same with compassion. It's the same with joy and bliss. All of those aspects of the soul, however much they've been covered up in the soul's journey, are reanimated in the encounter with the source. The source is the ultimate benefactor. This is the one true bestower. All the others in all the stories, the kings, the magi's, the genies, the princes, etc., are all descriptions of a lesser version of this original true bestower that the soul has known for eternity. That's what we're looking for. That's the experience we want. And that's the experience that as soon as we're able to have it, we vow we will never let go of that again. We won't just walk back out and start seeking anywhere. We won't just try to keep reading, sitting in different pictures, etc., because we see there's an enormous difference between the soul in connection with the source and the soul seeking for everything else. Now, when the soul has the fortune of connecting to this source and filling itself up, eventually the soul is able to remain full. What happens when the soul is completely full? Remembering that the soul is vibrations, right? The soul emanates vibrations. So what then happens when the soul is completely filled with peace, peaceful? What happens when the soul is completely filled with love,
And
joy?
you send that vibrations, right? It's vibrations of peace and vibrations of love.
Automatically. It's not like you're gonna, if this one says they need it, oh fine, let me go get some peace, or let me go get some love. You are so filled with that you're automatically emanating that, right? So you become like a lighthouse. You're radiating those qualities that you have. You are naturally serving. You are naturally serving everyone that you're in contact with. So you are a natural benefactor. How do you know this is happening? You can see it around you. If you're at work, you may notice people come and hang out around your desk more. If you're at home, you may notice that people in the house gravitate to you. They want to just be close. Even people you don't know, you can feel them pulled. Why do they pull towards? They're not pulled towards your personality or your looks or your perfume or whatever, right? They're pulled towards these vibrations that match their own original state. The final piece here is that when they have that experience, when they are picking up these vibrations from you, so what happens then? Think about the laws of karma. So the laws of karma are that what goes around comes around, right? So it's whatever I put out there returns to me. So if I'm putting out there peace, peace returns to me. If I'm putting out there love, love comes back to me. So as I'm doing this, I am actually creating for the future a path, an atmosphere of a path forward that is beneficial, you might say, fortunate, right? Because I've created a path that's filled with these qualities that people are searching for. The other thing that happens is people just give you their natural blessings. Thank you. I needed that. I needed that conversation. I needed that contact. I needed that time. I needed someone to listen to me. I needed that lift, right? So that you get blessings from the heart back from them for that. So, and those blessings are kind of a lift for us too. So this business of gifts, of course, the giving of gifts is a great thing and we love giving them. But the more important piece of all of this is our ability to really have this path that we're on, this self-realization, really bring us the gifts that we're looking for, right? These things that the world needs, we need, and the world needs. And of course, as each one of us gets filled up in this way, then we begin to change the world around us. And as enough people begin to change the world around them, then you begin to see a real shift. So let me just pause here, check in with you. What are you feeling or thinking here? What thoughts or stories or experiences or questions or what's up for you with all this? We have a few minutes to listen to you if you've got something.
Sister Judy, how do we use this eternal peace kind of thing to connect it with the physical gift giving? Because one thought was that when you're peaceful and you're loveful, and in that state, when you give a gift, right, it kind of really probably touches the person. It's a more, because then there is no tug of war going in your own mind, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. I would agree with that, Anita. I think that's right. It's never the gift itself, right? It's always the kind of the glow with which you give that, the sense of benevolence and all that with which you give that. So, I think honestly, almost anything could be in the package. If you're in the right state, it really isn't very much about what's in the package. What people want to feel is seen. They want to feel seen. They want to feel acknowledged. They want to feel valued. So if you don't need to buy a big expensive gift, you've got a little tiny gift, but it was something you bought with love in your heart, and you give it to them with that love. The transformative thing is the energy with which you make that offer. We also have a term called drishti, which is the sharing of love through the eyes, soul conscious love through the eyes. And that's its own gift, right? When you look at someone and you're in your state of soul consciousness and you're connected above and you're looking at them as the true self, as someone that you have a lot of natural love for, that exchange of vision is also a gift, right? And people feel that. They pick that up. Yeah? You've had that experience, no? Yeah. So what thoughts do you have? What questions? But yeah, Varsha. Are you unmuted? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Something you mentioned, of course, everything is beautiful, but something that came home, it is like a cup that is already full. It just spills. So the joy
Right.
It just feels effortlessly.
That's right.
That's,
Just effortlessly. That's because we're vibrational, right? When we're filled, it's like a current. You can feel, I mean, if you think about the people you know, think about the people that have an impact on you either way. Either people that are a little bit down, you have to work a little bit when you're around them, or the people that you find attractive and magnetic. What it is the feeling that they put out, right? It's that vibration. It's that they're filled with either love or a sweetness or a calmness or a kindness, and you pick that vibration up. It's like their own fragrance or their own song. It's like every soul has kind of their own song, right? And you pick that up, right? Yeah. Yeah, Darshana.
Hello.
Hello.
I know all these things, but sometimes it's very difficult to put in a practice. And lately, I'm so anxious about, the work is something going on, and they're trying to, I'm not really sure, get rid of me, but everything is coming so fast, and I'm totally nervous, and what to take a decision or not. I'm trying my best to do meditation in the morning and give a good vibration, but most of the time is working, but some of the time is not working, and I'm really anxious. Any suggestion for that?
Well, I think what you're describing is what a lot of people are feeling, right?
Yeah.
Usually we are connected to the outside world.
Mhm.
So if the outside world is distressing in whatever way, we become distressed, right?
Okay.
We pick up what's going on there and we bring it inside.
Mhm.
What you're trying to do with your practice is to not pick it up from there, pick it up from here. So you connect above, fill yourself with, in your case, fill yourself with peace and confidence, right?
Okay.
So you pull that current down. The soul connects to the source. You pull down the thing you need, the source of confidence, the source of peace. And then when you look at the outside world, you don't take anything from the outside world. You give what you have, that peace, to the outside world. Right now, the world and the people in the world are too weak to give us anything.
I believe that.
This is true whether it's the water or the air or the soil or the people, they're all depleted. And so if we're taking from them, we're picking up their anxiety. And then we don't know if it's them or us. Is
Correct.
that my anxiety, or did I get that from my boss who's super anxious, right?
Yes.
And so it's about being really alert to whether you're taking from above and giving out, or you're taking from out there. Because the more you take from above and protect yourself from taking from the world, the more stable you'll be inside. You will also make better choices, right? You'll make better decisions because you'll be more clear. Whereas
Yes.
if you're taking from the outside and you're feeling that anxiousness, then you're not going to feel very clear. And you'll
Yes.
make decisions based on the wrong thing. You'll make decisions based on being afraid or being nervous or worried, right? And you never make your best decisions when it's like that.
Yeah,
So,
that's where I am right now. I'm like, should I just leave the job and just retire, or should I continue? Because every day is such a stressful situation, and my body cannot take it anymore. So I'm last 2-3 weeks I'm confused, and now I kind of going towards that. It's better for me to take a retirement, take a little break, and then think about something.
right. Well, I think the most important thing is that you create the atmosphere around you that will let you make the right decision.
Okay.
That's most important, not to make the decision in an atmosphere of anxiety. So
Okay.
to see if you can create, and actually this is a good time to do it because there'll be some holiday days, right? You'll have some days
Yes.
off. And so
Yes.
on those days off, if you can just make 2 or 3 times a day when you're really just going to sit, right? You're just
Yes.
sit in that state of reflection and don't think. That's not the way. Don't sit and think about the situation. Put the situation out of your mind. Sit in soul consciousness, connect to the source,
Mhm.
bring peace into the mind, peace into the heart, so that you are completely at peace.
Okay.
And then in that state, then the answers will sort of come to you. You won't even need to think too much. A kind of knowing will come.
Okay.
Okay? All
All right.
right.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
You're welcome. All right. Anyone else have a thought or a story or a situation or anything you want to share? You want to do a little meditation? Shall we do that? All right. Let's do that. So your intention, right, is going to be to fill yourself, to reanimate these qualities that are original to the soul. You're not getting them from somewhere else. They already belong to you. So sit quietly. Either your feet are on the floor or they're folded under you. And your eyes can be partway open so you don't drift off. And become aware as you turn inside that you are the eternal being of light. You are the soul. You are this tiny eternal lamp that has the natural innate qualities of purity, peace, love, bliss. It's your nature. You didn't have to learn peace. You didn't have to be educated in love. The soul is naturally peaceful and naturally loving. The soul is naturally contented. So become aware of one quality that you want to make alive right now. So become aware of yourself as a being of peace. Your natural nature is peace. When you look through the eyes, yours is a vision of peace. In your heart is filled with waves of peace. It can't be disturbed. And in this place of peace, you turn your attention up to the source of life, also known as the ocean of peace. So you allow yourself to be absorbed in this ocean of peace. And being filled with peace, you become aware that it's not just the self and it's not just the body that's filled with peace, but that the waves of peace are moving out beyond you into the room around you, touching every soul you've ever known and those you don't know. It's as if you're a lighthouse of peace. So you allow yourself to experience for a moment these currents of peace coming into you and moving out into the world. And now you bring your attention back, locate yourself in the body, but you keep this inner experience of peace. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, sister. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a lovely evening.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you so much, sister. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti. Thank you.
Is this program on YouTube?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
All right. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Om Shanti.